Hi, this is Jessica from House of Heyday, and if you're watching this video, I'm going to presume that you either like embroidery or do embroidery. And in these difficult times when we're all being forced to stay at home, I wanted to make a little video about monetising your embroidery, because I recognise that there's probably loads of you out there who are fantastic embroiderers. Whether you're professionally trained or not, it doesn't matter. It may be that you already come up with your own designs. It may just be that you love embroidery and you need to find a way to generate an income. So there is no reason, whatever your level of training and experience, there is no reason why you can't generate an income from doing embroidery. I'm not going to say it's easy, but there are ways, and the most important thing you need to be able to make money from doing embroidery is courage and bravery, and just giving it a go and throwing it out there and seeing what happens. So there are various ways that you can make money from doing embroidery. If you have watched my little intro video, you will know that I trained at the Royal School of Needlework. So I am professionally trained and have been working as a professional for about 16 years, I think. And the way that I make money from embroidery is through doing commissions. So sometimes they are new pieces, so I get asked to do things for new babies and weddings. I mean, one of my commissions last year was 2 cushions for an American whiskey and spirits company that were based on their own advertising from the 1950s, which was right up my street. So yeah, making new things for clients. I do a lot of textile restoration and conservation. Now that's something that is the one area that you do really need to be trained in order to do that. If you haven't been trained to do conservation and restoration, you run the risk of damaging and decreasing the value of antique textiles. So unless you've had some training, stay away from that side of things. The other ways is teaching embroidery and creating kits as well. So you can design and make your own embroidery kits, or you can design and make products, so completed embroideries. You might want those to be usable things, so wearable things like brooches or accessories, or you know, needle cases, pin cushions, even pencil cases, handbags. There's all kinds of usable or wearable things that you could embroider, or you could create your designs and do little embroideries to sell. You could have a shop on Etsy or Shopify. You could set up your own website and sell through that, or simply use it as a kind of gallery of your work. My website, if you want to have a look at it, it's houseofheyday.co.uk, and I use Squarespace for my website and absolutely love it. I do pay for it, but I have complete control over the content and the design, and Squarespace websites, in my opinion, are just really beautiful and polished. So that's why I choose to go the option of paying for my website, because I want it to look really professional and of a very high standard. There are other kind of companies that are website providers that are cheaper or even free, like WordPress, so you can look into that. The embroidery world, in my opinion, isn't big enough, and it sort of upsets me, and it always has, that embroidery isn't seen as art, and it absolutely, without a shadow of a doubt, is art. It's an art form in its own right. So the way I see it, if I can support you to get your embroidery out there, whether you're selling it or just showing pictures of it on Pinterest, it doesn't matter. The bigger we can make our embroidery world, the more exposure it will get, the more it will be recognised as an art form, and the more work ultimately we'll all get, because the more people will appreciate it. So this is something that I feel really, really passionate about. But before you even think about putting your embroidery out there, I want to talk to you about valuing yourself and your work. So this is something that I've struggled with over the years. It's when you do a piece of embroidery, it's a labour of love. It feels like almost like an extension of you as a person. It's very, very difficult to put an amount of money on that, but it's something that you need to think about very carefully. I'm not going to sit here and tell you what you should be charging per hour, because it differs from person to person. The way that I generally work is that I do charge by the hour. Sometimes it's a daily rate. It really depends on the job. And when somebody comes to me and says, right, I want you to do this piece of work, I will sit down, break that piece of work down into manageable goals, estimate how long each of those steps will take me. And then at the end of that process, I have an amount of hours that I'm going to need to spend on that project. I always overestimate a little bit, because I've made the mistake in the past of underestimating and then not getting paid enough for the work that I've done. So I always overestimate a little bit to allow room for the project to evolve and for things to go wrong, or materials to cost a little bit more than expected. And then once I've got kind of the hours that I'm going to spend, the materials, the costs that are for the materials, I can then come up with a sort of total amount as to how much that piece of work is going to cost. Now, as I say, I've struggled with this over the years, and a really good way of approaching it is to think about who you are, what your skills and experience are, what you have invested in getting those skills and that experience. So you might have spent money on going to embroidery classes. You might have, like me, spent 3 years training, and the time and the work and the costs involved in that. You might have never been to an embroidery class in your life, but you might have spent 20 years learning and teaching yourself and honing your skills. All of that has a value. So think about your background, and I know it's so hard to put a monetary value on that, but think about the amount of time and the amount of money that you've spent getting the skills and experience that you have. And don't think, oh, well, I haven't really spent any time or money on it. You have, otherwise you wouldn't be able to do it. So think about that. Then a really good exercise is to sit down, use that as a starting point, your skills, experience, the time and money that you've already put into that. Then think about all the other things. You need a roof over your head. You need food on the table. You need clothes on your back. You need to be able to live. So you can literally come up with kind of amounts for all of those things and work it down to a point where you have an hourly rate, which is comfortable for you. You feel comfortable charging that amount of money, but please, 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 please don't undersell yourself. If you do a piece of embroidery and you spend 50 hours on it, which is easily done, and then you charge £10 for it, why is anybody going to value the work that you're doing if you don't value it yourself? Also, one of the best pieces of advice I've ever been given when it comes to valuing your work is that if you undersell yourself, you undersell everybody who does what we do. So if you undersell yourself, you undersell me, and I'm a professional and I've trained for years and I've got 16 years experience doing it. You undersell, you know, the person down the road who's putting out their first kit and charging appropriately for it and trying to give it a go. It's about supporting the community and supporting the industry. It's not about me being better than you. It's, you know, or kind of any sort of hierarchy. That's not what I'm talking about at all. It's recognising that we are all in this together. I'm not talking about the lockdown. We are all in that together. But I mean the embroidery industry, putting our work out there, selling our work, generating income, finding clients. We're all in this together. So charge accordingly and support the community and support the industry. Don't be kind of a hobby embroiderer who charges nothing for the work that they do and undersells and devalues what all of us are trying to do who do embroidery for a living. alongside this video, I'm also in the process of putting together what I'm calling a consultation package. So I'm writing guidance notes at the moment, and I'm piloting it with my first client who's doing this consultation package. And it's basically a whole process which teaches you how to design and make your own embroidery kits. And a lot of what I've talked about today is in there, plus a lot more information. And basically it's sorry, the sun's shining right on me. It's written guidance notes, and then alongside that you would have 3 video chats with me, one at the beginning, one in the middle, and one at the end of the process of you creating your first embroidery kit. And those kits can be to teach in classes, or they can be to sell online, whatever you want to do with them. And I'll support you with kind of what you want the outcome to be as well. So I'm doing that at the moment. I'm making this video without, the purpose of this video is not to try and tell that consultation package, but I just wanted to let you guys know that option is there. I'm very happy to support you, and I would love to get more people doing embroidery. I'd love to get more people's work out there, and I'd love to help people that want to do that get themselves off the ground. So I really hope that this video has helped. If you've got any questions or queries, let me know. And if I can help in any way, just give me a shout. And of course, if you're interested in taking me up on that consultation package, then just let me know. It's kind of in its infancy at the moment. I've not worked out all the costs yet because I'm piloting it with the first client. So I'm kind of working it out as I go along at the moment. But yeah, do let me know if you're interested, and I can send you further details. Thank you for watching. Hope you're all well.